Hey, Headripper here. I'm gonna go over our 10-man heroic Warlord Zon'ozz strategy. I'm a haste mastery tank with expertise hard cap at 14%. So I run 8% hit, 14% expertise, 1660 haste, and my mastery is 117 right now. So what we do is looking at the boss right here. This is how our markers are lined up. We have purple, red, yellow, green, and the blues over there, the orange in the back. And this is what it's going to look like from the replay top down. And this is what our actual strategy looks like as far as what we're doing. On the tentacle phase, I'm running over to the claw to make sure that he's being tanked and not AoEing the group. Our feral and ret is running to triangle and they're going to kill the first flail. Once they get done with that flail, they'll run into the orange circle and killing that eye. And they're going to number 3 and killing that eye. And then our range is going to be stacking with the healers and they're going to be kill the purple flail. Once they get done with that, they're going to kill the red eye, and then they're going to kill number 3 eye. And then they're going to come over and cleave the claw with the boss. Our rogue is going straight to number 1, blue, and he's going to kill that eye. Once he gets done with that, he's going to come over to me and start hitting the boss and cleaving the ad. Our healer's assignments is our H-Pal rolls over next to me, heals me, the feral, and the ret. Our Resto Shaman is in charge of healing me and the rogue. And then our Disc Priest, he's in charge of healing the range group. Our mage is in charge of bouncing the ball back on the first cauterize proc, so he's going to stand solo by himself. I'm going to stack on him so that I can pull it right to him. So 7 seconds to go, you're going to do your army. And then with 1 second, you're going to golem pot, you're going to boot in, and you're going to taunt the boss and try to pull him to the middle and then turn him so that he's aiming right towards purple. And then as soon as the ball comes out, you're turning him and tanking him. So go ahead and pop your Deer W, Outbreak, Death Strike, Heart Strike, Death Strike, Runic Weapon, Death Strike, Runic Strike, Death Strike, and then you can get your goal out and stuff like that. But I'm gonna let that first psychic drain go because I don't want to take a psychic drain with big damage from his stacks. Because every time he's getting these stacking buffs where he's hitting harder, and you're gonna get crushed if you get hit hard with a melee hit and a big psychic drain. So I always AMS the second psychic drain. I'm watching his stacking buff, and when it gets to 5, I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling my IBF because we're trying to take it to 7 stacks on the bounce on the ball for the debuff. So as soon as he gets to that 7th, I'm gonna move him into the ball and let it hit him. And then I'm running over here to my star tentacle and I'm gonna tank it. Once I get to that, I'm gonna spread my dots to it, but not by outbreak. I'm gonna manually apply them with icy touch and plague strike, and then just get to kind of hit chopping them down and waiting for the boss to come over. Once the boss comes over, I'm gonna outbreak on him and start Death Strike, Rune Strike, Death Strike him, and trying to keep my health up. I'm focusing on the boss and cleaving off of him with Heart Strikes so that we can maximize our damage. Because every time the ball bounces off of the players, he gets a stacking buff that you do more damage to him. So I'm just utilizing that and trying to get him down. So once the claw goes down and we come and are ready to get to the next phase, it's the same thing as the first phase. I'm turning him, I'm trying to face him towards my mage, and then as soon as the ball comes out, I'm gonna flip him and take him. And it's important that nobody is in front of him when he does his first psychic drain. The psychic drain is doing damage to whoever is hit, and then it heals him for whoever's hit. So if you got 2, 3, 4 people getting hit by it, it's gonna heal him 2, 3, 4 times. So make sure that your damage people are aware and where you're facing him is not towards somebody. And it's the same thing as last time. Once I'm taking him, I'm watching my cooldowns and I'm trying to time my AMS with the second psychic drain. At this time, I don't have my IBF up, so when he gets to 5 stacks, I'm gonna call for paints up. And we're gonna try to take him to another 7 bumps on the ball so that he gets the stacking buff. but we didn't get it.
Okay.
He was too close, so he gets transitioned
Yeah,
early by the ball
I
hitting
didn't
him.
I didn't
So I
really
just go to star and we
notice
start
that.
taking our thing.
We're good.
Same thing on that. I'm just gonna dot it with my dots and and wait for the boss to come over. When the boss comes over, I'm gonna use my outbreak on him and start chopping him down. This tentacle phase is only going to last 30 seconds. So you have to burn your tentacles down. And the more tentacles up, the more damage that your raid is taking. That's why we have people split and trying to burst down the eyes and so forth. So just get those down and get that raid damage down. But after 30 seconds, the phase is going to end. The boss is going to be able to be, flipped and get him positioned so that your mage can bounce it back. Your mage should be able to bounce back every time the way it lines up if you get to 5 or 7 bounces. And then once we get that first bounce, all of the group is soaking. And then when we get dispelled, our group members are running out to get dispelled
Facing the boss.
and then getting right back
The way
in.
it should be.
The orb comes out. I flip the
Do it.
boss.
I'm gonna hit
I
it
back him up a little bit,
pretty quick here, boys.
just a little
Yeah,
bit,
go ahead.
so that it times up with the cooldown on the melee bounce back. I'm watching it to make sure it doesn't accidentally hit him, and if I need to pull it back further. But we're good. So now I'm just sitting there trying to keep healthy, keep my Death Strike, Heart Strike active while managing my cooldowns.
So we need more. Spell.
Canvas, you're shooting
I'm
the
watching
be in
his
front of him.
buff again for 5 and Psychic Drain, so I AMS, and then I have my IBF
on the
up for
wall?
the third one. Go ahead and IBF again while he's at high stacks so I can smooth out the damage. I'm looking at the bump count, and it's already hit him 7 times, so I'm going to run him into it.
Right, keep it clean.
And then I'm going to get to my spot and start chopping down the claw again.
All right, here comes
We're
the
starting
orb.
getting into the last leg of this fight. There's a minute left on the Berserker timer. He's already up to 95% damage taken received. So
Okay, I'm
what we're
backing
going
it
to
up
do
now.
is try to get the ball bounced another 5, 6, 7 times, however many times we can. And once we have just a little bit left time to Berserker, we're going to let it hit him. And then we're not going to worry about the tentacles or anything like that. We're going to go straight to the middle and just all bust them down and burn everything. So we've already lusted and we're pumping them and we're still doing the rotation. So we're going to let it hit them on 7 and we're going to go burn them. And all the damage and stuff that you're doing right now, if you see the debuff at the weak ore, it says 130% damage taken. That means he's taking that much more damage.
Let it hit. Let it
So you can group up, everybody hit your trank, hit a barrier, AMS, all your personals, pop everything right now and get this guy done. We 3-healed this fight because there's so much damage is going out. I think you will just have to the first week unless you're a Chad group that's progged it tons. But it's a very hard boss. We've pulled it PTR probably 30 times and didn't kill it. So we came into the live with a pretty good understanding of what it's going to take. And we just went ahead and started with 3 healing. And just had to get the cadence down of the mechanics and the
You're
bumps
100%
and where to go, our
following that
positioning and all that. And once we smoothed all that out and did that dance for, 7, 8, 9, 10 pulls, whatever it was, then we ended up getting the boss and just moving on. But this is another tier boss, and he's got really good loot. But he's
Last
probably
one alive gets the loot.
one of the hardest hitting bosses, maybe the 3rd hardest. So just be ready to get trucked. But this should be enough info for you guys to get a good grasp on it.
Yeah, get that
Okay,
gear on
bye.
for,